This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you live and around the world from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. It is Thursday, October the 8th in the year 2015. And the X-Zone is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. We come to you Monday through Friday from 8 p.m. Eastern until midnight on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, Starcom Radio Network, Digital Broadcast Network, and the Digital Satellite Network. Worldwide toll-free 800-610-7035. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our radio site where you can listen to the X-Zone 24/7, 365, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Francine VALE, and she's the author of Song of the Heart, Walking the Path of Light. Now, Francine does distant healings, personal healings, teaching of all things metaphysical. She does private spiritual counseling. She does seminars and lectures, meetings and classes. And some of the topics that she deals with are shamanism, spiritual healing, mysticism, well-being, and science. Joining me now from Manhattan, New York, is Francine VALE. And Francine, welcome to the X-Zone.
Well, hi, Rob. Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here with you tonight.
Well, we're glad you're with us, too. Now, you and I were talking before we came to air, and you wanted to share with the X-Zone Nation 2 sightings that you have had.
I wasn't sure about what I was going to talk about tonight. I usually talk about healing and spiritual things, and I went to a movie and I relaxed. I just came home a few minutes ago. You can do that in Manhattan. And I came out of the movie theater and I said, you know what? I think it's time to talk about the sightings. So, because I had 2 really beautiful sightings in the past month. One in Chile. I was in Chile in the beginning of September, just about a month ago, and one just about a week and a half ago, right here in Manhattan. And they were both kind of significant to me. And they tie in with my healing work. So I think would be interesting. This is, as I told you, this is the first time that I'm on radio talking about in public my UFO experiences. So be kind to me.
Oh, I will. I will. So just go ahead. Just go ahead, dear, and tell us your story. Tell us about the sightings.
Well, I was in Chile, about 90 minutes north of Santiago, at a spiritual retreat, finishing up my shaman course. I decided to study shamanism the past year, just to know if there was anything I didn't know about healing. I felt it was time for me to learn. And Chile is an amazing place. And I was also in Peru over the summer, 2 places where people know about light beings and what we call UFOs. And they're seen quite frequently in those places. So I was in Chile, and I was there I think it was the second night that I was there. And I'm laying in bed. What's amazing about this particular sighting that I'm about to tell you about is that my head never left my pillow, and yet I got a perfectly centered photograph. So I'll tell you how that happened. I'm laying in bed, and I had a beautiful room there, and there is a half-moon-shaped window that's close to the ceiling. It was a very high peaked ceiling. And I opened my eyes at about 3:30 in the morning for no particular reason, and right in the very center of that window is a magnificent white light ship. And I'm used to seeing these things. They don't light up the sky. They just, they're lit up where they are. And I immediately saw 2 stars in the upper right-hand corner. So I said, well, I'll use the 2 stars, which were quite tiny compared to this light ship, as my measuring point. And I'm looking at this light ship, and it was just, it's just so mesmerizing. You can't take your eyes off it. And I had my phone within arm's reach on the bed. So I reached for the phone, my iPhone, and I took a picture with the camera. So it's an iPhone. I'm not a big photographer, but I had the phone and the camera. So I took the picture, and it's exactly centered in the picture, just like it was in the window. And after that, this light ship started to move toward the upper left corner. So I had those 2 stars positioned, and the stars stayed exactly where they were, very tiny, and the light ship is big, and it's moving up to the upper left corner. And I said, oh, no, don't go.
Oh, gosh.
And the light ship, it stopped. It stopped. And it stopped long enough for me to know that it stopped because I asked them. And I would say, like, if you were saying goodbye to somebody and you said, oh, don't leave yet, and they just turned around and looked at you and blew you a kiss or something,
right?
It was like that. And then they started to leave. And they left a little differently than I've seen in the past, where they wink out or they kind of just go so fast. This went very slowly. It just slowly got smaller and smaller. So I felt it was, instead of leaving my sphere of visualization, it just kind of got fainter and fainter. So it was moving up without leaving the space of the window, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And so there I was with my head on the pillow the entire time, having this magnificent sighting and capturing it in a photograph, which I thought was so amazing.
It is.
Do
you think that the occupants of the craft tried to make any communications with you?
Oh, yes. They something like this they do. I said to them when I first saw them, I said, who are you? I always believe in asking for identification.
Sure.
Because one of the laws of the universe is they have to say who they are if you ask them. And they said, we are in you, and you are of us, and we are in you.
Right.
So, of course, I had silent tears just from one eye. That's just uncontrollable. And so you just feel that in your heart. And I knew that it was going to be a wonderful 2 weeks after that. It was almost like they were welcoming me because I was finishing this course in a very quick time. And it was very meaningful to me. And so that's what happened in Chile, and it was a beautiful 2 weeks. But everything went perfect, and I learned a lot about myself more than anything else, which is really the true spiritual path.
Francine, before you tell us about the second sighting, sweetie, tell me about Francine. What was it that brought you to be on the path that you're on, to be a healer, to teach metaphysics, to bring people together, to bring peace and harmony? Well,
it's a big question, Rob. It started when I was 3, and I wrote about this in my book. I was 3 years old, rocking my dolls in their cradle, And there's a picture of me rocking my dolls when I was 3, but not the day that I had the experience. And all of a sudden, I felt this presence next to me. And it's kind of amazing to me now, but I took it for granted at that time. And I looked up. I didn't see anything, but I felt the presence. And to me, that was my guardian angel. And she said to me, Francine, why do you love your dolls so much? Your parents need your love. And they need a lot of healing, and you are the only one who can love them in the way that they need to heal. So love your parents, Francine, and don't worry about your dolls. And so, of course, I already loved my parents, and it was true. They both really had suffered quite a lot in their childhood,
right.
And they did need a lot of healing. But, you know, when highly evolved beings speak to us, there's a lot more in the message than just a superficial message. So I learned from that people were more important than things. And that is the way I live my life. People are more important. Whatever anyone, this is not just for me, this is a big teaching. Whatever we think is so important that we're involved with, when somebody needs us, we need to go to that person, whether it's just talking to them or whatever it is. Usually it's just giving somebody our attention in a loving way. Very few times, just to let go of everything else and pay attention to the person. So people are more important than things. That was a very big teaching that stayed with me, and it seemed to come natural to me. So that was the beginning, and I had kind of a spiritual awareness through my growing up years, but I didn't talk about it back then. There was no one to talk to about these things, and I just took it for granted. This was my life, different things happened that showed me spirit was with me. For instance, a white dove landed on the windowsill on the day that we moved from a really bad neighborhood when I was 12. I was in a really bad school, and I was sure I was never going to learn anything in that school. I grew up in the Bronx, and my parents moved. And I was so happy to move to a nicer neighborhood. And that day, a white dove showed up on the windowsill. And somehow that white dove communicated to me. And I felt that was my guardian angel, who, even though I moved, she knew how to find me. And so that day, I asked her, what is your name? How shall I call you? And she said, my name is Love, guardian angel Love.
Wow.
And so it reinforced the whole idea of love in my consciousness. And then I just went through my life with this awareness. And then when I was 49 years old, I was going to be 50 on my next birthday, my spirit guide revealed himself to me, and that changed my life. When my spirit guide revealed himself to me, he told me who I was, where I came from. My children were grown. I had no more responsibilities, normal kinds of family responsibilities, and he told me that I was here to be a helper. He did not say healer. He said, helper. We are helpers. We are not soothsayers or fortune tellers. We are helpers, and whosoever you shall choose, that is who we shall help. And I began to notice that I was healing people. And first, of course, he brought through an incredible healing for me. Before I could begin, he had to clear me out of all my sadness and all my pain and all the stuff that you go through in life, It had to be neutralized and cleared. And so he worked very closely with me every day. And I won't say that I was perfectly cleared, but I was cleared enough to proceed with the work. And it took me quite a long time, at least 5 years, before I began to call myself a healer. Because I just couldn't do it. Who am I to call myself a healer,
So what kind of healings do you do, dear?
I work with golden light,
Mm-hmm.
which is the essence of divine love. So when I do a healing, if you are with me, you will feel it come through, not just my hand.
Mm-hmm.
It comes through my eyes. If you are with me, you will see it in my eyes. This light comes through, comes from my heart center, comes from all of me, and you feel it. Where I put my hands, you will feel it focused. And if it's distant, you feel it also. You may not see me, but you will feel it. And people will always tell me that it's a very profound experience that they never expected. And I've done many, many miraculous healings. And with ordinary people, nobody famous, usually people who can't even afford to pay me, and that's fine. I'm very, very honored and humbled to bring the healing through. So now it's always wonderful. I've never, ever taken it for granted or gotten tired of it. It's always a miracle, always. It's always beautiful. It's uplifting to me, and I'm so happy for the person. But it does more than bring healing. It connects people to their spiritual self and to their spirit guides and guardian angels. So it's really, I actually create portals, angelic portals. And when you're with me in my home, you feel it. You can feel it. So it's a wonderful life. It's really blessed life to live this way, even though I've had a lot of heartache and a lot of serious physical illnesses and so on. I still feel, in spite of all that, I feel very blessed in my life just to be able to do this and bring this awareness through to people.
So how are you doing, Francine? How is Francine doing? You know, you've said that you've had severe physical illnesses, and that, you know, life hasn't been a bowl of cherries for you. How are you doing now?
It has been. Yeah, it's been hard. As a matter of fact, the last time we spoke, I was not doing well at all, and it was really hard for me. And I was doing all these interviews because my book had just been published. And it was one of the most difficult challenges of my life to get on the radio and talk, because I had thyroid cancer, and my husband, with whom I had been separated for a long time, 15 years, I never divorced him because I didn't want to bring that energy into my life or my children's life. He was dying.
Oh, no.
And so, so it was really, really a painful time for me the last time we spoke, and I don't know if you can tell the difference in my voice.
Oh, I can.
The last time we spoke.
I can.
Yeah.
So you're doing much. You're doing much better.
I'm doing so much better. I feel I've been helped by spirit to come into my true, authentic self more fully, and that sense of joy of life. You know, the sun rises in my windows every day, and just facing the sunrise every day is just beautiful, and feeling healthy and all of that. It's just wonderful. I definitely feel, and then that's why these two sightings seem so significant, because I feel the one in Chile was, I hadn't had a sighting in a long time, several years, and the one in Chile was like a greeting. I felt it was very significant. It's hard to describe. It's like, you know, in your heart. And it's really hard to describe, but I felt they had come back because I had done so well and responded. And I have the vibrations in my body right now, which is a sign that what I'm saying is true. Absolutely, I'm getting the message. They had come back and were able to show themselves to me again in that way because I had responded well to all their efforts to heal me. You know, I couldn't talk. I mean, when I had thyroid cancer, it was a mess. It was terrible. My voice, I couldn't hear my own voice right. I couldn't hear right. My hair was falling out. I was just not in a good place with my husband dying. And even though we were separated, I was married all those years, I knew him since I was 16, so
Wow.
It was really hard. So that was, to me, like, we're back with you, and take heart and be joyful, So I'm in a good place right now, Rob.
Well, I'm so happy for you. I am so happy for you, because I know what you've gone through, and here you are. You've taken your life. You've done so much to learn how to help others, and here you are today helping so many. God bless you. Now I understand. This is the true meaning of humanity.
It is.
Yes.
I advise everyone, whether they're depressed, whether they're going through a hard time, get out there and help other people.
That's right.
When you start to help other people, you're being helped also. It's how we were designed.
Yep.
We were designed to help one another. And this is a very integral part of all spiritual teaching that I don't know how strongly the message comes through out there, but when we help someone, we feel good the whole day. That makes our day when we're able to help someone. We just feel so good, whatever way we were able to do it, whatever level of life we're in.
It doesn't
a wonderful feeling.
It is, and it doesn't have to be anything big, extravagant. Just opening the door for somebody, helping somebody put a package into their car. My wife and I were at Costco the other day, and God bless this gentleman. He must have been in his mid-70s. He was having trouble walking, and he's got his cart. And, I went over to him, and I said, "Can I help you, sir?" He said, "Okay." He wanted the help, but he was, he still had pride and his integrity, and he still wanted to do things. But when people realize that you're doing it for the right reason, that you're doing it to be another human, to help another human achieve, another human to do something. Like I said, just putting groceries in a cart, it makes them feel good. Right. And when you make somebody feel good, it gives you that golden feeling that you talk about in yourself.
Yes. And when someone helps you, then you feel just as good. I mean, it works both ways.
It does.
If someone does the smallest favor for you, you feel so good. So that should teach us that we were designed to help one another, not be competitive, not be against one another or afraid of one another, which is so prevalent in our society.
It is.
It's a very sad thing, but that's why I like to talk about that. And like you say, the smallest thing uplifts us.
Just saying hello, smiling at someone, opening the door for someone. It shows that person that you don't know from Adam that here's another human saying, "Hey, you know what? Let me do this for you. We're both on the same planet.
Exactly.
We're both members of the same species. I want to be nice and I'll just smile at somebody." Have you ever noticed how contagious a smile is?
It is.
Yeah.
And you know what I love about living in Manhattan?
What's that?
Because I love, when I moved back, I was out of the city for a few years, and after 9/11, and so I got sick from the pollution. I came back, and I said, when you're in your car, you are isolated. You're driving around, and everybody's in their car, and people can get angry in their car about different things on the road. And I experienced that when I was living out of the city. I come back and you walk. You walk in the city. And I said, you know what? When I used to do this before I moved out, I began again. You walk down the street and just think about how you love life and you love everyone that's walking by you on the street, whoever they are. You don't have to know. And you know what? People start smiling back at you.
Sure do.
And it's a wonderful, I love it. It makes me feel less alone. And I'm sure it makes the other person also feel, more connected. And we can have a tendency to close up into our own shell sometimes when we're out. So
it makes us part of the human race.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And isn't that what's so important?
It is. It is.
So,
but, talking to you, and there's one word that personifies listening to you, and that's the word love.
Oh, thank you.
I can hear it. I can feel it.
Thank you. Thank you. And, sometimes people just don't have the capacity to love that way. So what I say is then just be kind. Then the word doesn't have to be love. It could be loving kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Treat people kindly, no matter who they are, no matter what they did. Treat them with kindness because that's about you and how you are. And if you try to treat someone the way they treated you, if you didn't like the way they treated you, then you're making yourself like them.
Sure.
So be kind to everyone, and you never know what's going on in someone else's life, why they behave a certain way.
That's right.
You just don't know.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah.
So when was your second sighting? How long ago was that?
Oh, the second sighting was just about a week and a half ago, and I just posted it on Facebook in case anybody wanted to take a look at it. They're actually both on my Facebook page. The one I just posted is right up at top. So that happened right here in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
That weekend that we had that big astrological configuration. Was that the weekend of the 27th, the 28th, the 29th? Is that when it was?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's when it was. Anyway, it was that weekend. And I woke up at 5 o'clock, and I have a habit, because of my sightings and different experiences, I always like to look at the time when I wake up in the middle of the night, and then I look at the time when I come back into bed. So it was 5 o'clock exactly. And for some reason, and this is a hallmark of this type of experience, I walked not into the bathroom, but into the living room. And I have it's a small apartment, but really beautiful new apartment on the Upper West Side with a very clear view of the sky, big sky with big windows. The whole wall is windows. And right outside my living room window is this light ship.
Huh.
And it wasn't that high because from where I was in my apartment, it was lower than the roof line of my building, which doesn't mean it was that low, just from my view.
Sure.
So it was not high up like a star. And this hung around, so I thought, gee, I don't know what that is, but I got hungry, so I went and got a couple of cookies, and I had like 3 or 4 cookies left in this little bag, and I'm sitting there munching on the cookies and just looking at this light ship. And then I said, gee, I better go get my camera on my phone and take a picture of it. So now I went back into my bedroom, got the phone, came back and took a picture of it. And when I got back into bed, it was after 6. I looked at the clock. It was at my cell phone. It was after 6. So I don't think I was in the living room for more than 5 or 6 minutes at the most. That would be a long time. These are teeny tiny little cookies. You just pop them in your mouth one at a time. And so I get into bed, and this is what I close my eyes, and the next thing I know, I wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning. And this is what I remember. I remember being in a place, it was not my apartment, and there was a couple of people around, but it wasn't brightly lit. It was a little dim, the light. And a male person, enters the room, carrying a box, sits it on a table behind me, and for some reason I don't turn my head to see what's in the box. And he is now taking something out of the box, and when he turns toward me, I see he's holding a beautiful, what I thought of, clear, pure quartz crystal.
Oh, wow.
And it was shaped like an oval soap. If you just unwrapped a clean bar of oval soap,
right,
a large one, and held it in your hand, that's what this crystal was like. and he took this crystal and he put it on my left foot. And what I remember seeing is he put this crystal on my left foot and he moved it up my body. He did not slide it up my body. He picked it up and moved it onto my leg, then a little further up my leg, then onto my hip, then onto my waist, and then the last thing I remembered, that crystal touched my left cheek, and it felt so good. When that crystal touched my left cheek, I went out, completely out. No memory after that, and then I opened my eyes. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. I overslept 2.5 hours or something, and yeah. So this is what happened. Since that was what I think that was, because of how it's affected me. That was like a final cleansing of everything that I've been healing myself from with these beings of light. This cleared the last residue of pain out of me, emotional pain and physical pain, and this thing I have of being very sensitive and getting upset over things. That's not happening since then. I've had a few experiences that I recognize would have upset me a lot, and then I would obsess over it, That's not happening.
That is fantastic.
That was like an amazing cleansing that took place, that strengthened me, that when I spoke to my daughter, she said, "Mom, you sound so good." She just couldn't get over it. She heard it in my voice, and she was so happy. And other people are saying it to me, that they see my face as looking like so clear and young, and I feel it was like a euthanizing experience. I just feel wonderful.
Well, Francine, you are sounding wonderful. You're sounding fantastic. I've got to take a commercial break. We'll be right back, Francine. Okay. I want to talk to you about your book, and I want to talk to you about how we can integrate love into our daily life. Stand by, Francine. Okay. Great talking to you. Well, love your energy tonight, hon. Exonation, Francine VALE is our special guest. She is the author of Song of the Heart, Walking the Path of Light. Her website is FRANCINEVALE.com. And we'll be back on the other side of this break with the news as we continue live and around the world from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. Don't go away. What if Jesus came back now and insisted that we listen to him? How would the world be different if Christians really followed the Gospels? For 2,000 years, we've been practicing a religion. Now it's finally time to get it right. Read Liberating Jesus, new from Roberta Grimes. Meet the Jesus you never knew. Roberta uses afterlife evidence and biblical analysis to prove that Jesus is exactly right. Learning the lessons that he came to teach is the reason we are born at all. Roberta says he has come back now to insist that we actually listen to him so we can begin to use his teachings to unite and transform the world. Liberating Jesus on Amazon, October 1st, and then wherever books are sold. Jesus has the answers, and it's not too late. Roberta blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com.
The scientist and the mystic have been on an age-old, relentless search with one thing in common. They seek truth. Their paths converge in the 40,000-year-old practice of shamanism, an ancient science delving to the quantum level of life, facilitating healing, manifestation, and evolution. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, the founder and director of Path Home Shamanic Arts School, a unique Colorado State certified occupational school training shamanic practitioners and teachers. We also provide classes for empowering personal lives through shamanism. Our certification classes are in week-long segments enabling international participation, and online classes and long-distance shamanic healing sessions are available. Come discover the science of magic in the limitless world of shamanism. www.findyourpathhome.com.
Carl O. Helvey Holistic Cancer Foundation is a new nonprofit foundation that focuses on a holistic approach to cancer that includes physical, mental, spiritual, and political aspects. Cancer education, research, and care are provided for all types of cancer patients. You can listen to interviews with cancer doctors and survivors and read research on holistic aspects of cancer at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com. That's www.holisticcancerfoundation.com. Manifestation is driven by imagination, intent, and passion. In our culture, all three have been distorted and disabled by modern media and exploitation. Re-engage your imagination and your passion by entering into the world of paranormal romance. Kahir O'Donnell takes her readers on an exciting journey into the endless possibilities of loving, passionate, and mutually respectful male-female relationship. Her latest book, The Long Dark Night, features special ops adventure, a daring rescue, a psychic woman from the stars, and a special agent that will die to protect her. The Long Dark Night by Kahira O'Donnell is now available at KahiraO'Donnell.com or Amazon.com.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money in abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Rob McConnell, and this is the X-Zone. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My guest this hour is Francine VALE. We've had the pleasure of having Francine on the show previously. And I must tell you, Francine, you just sound fantastic tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob. I'm so happy to be talking to you tonight.
We're so happy you're
about this topic, which I never talked about this, as I said, in public. So.
I appreciate you telling our listeners, because you, young lady, you have a message to give to the world. You help so many people. You're always learning. You're doing everything you can to make a positive difference. And this is what the world needs now. We need people with positive plans of action, such as smiling at somebody. Hey, there's a good positive action. Just doing something little. And do you know what, Francine? We're coming up to the Christmas season. And it's like, as we get closer to the 25th, there seems to be a new spirit of love in the air. I know for a fact the angels have a lot to do with it. And people are kinder, people are friendlier, people dig deeper into their pockets to try and help those in need at their time of need. Why can't we do this all year long? Why do we have to wait for Christmas? Wouldn't it be great if we could actually have the spirit of Christmas 365 days of the year?
Well, sure. Wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
I do think that there is an increase in people waking up to this great need for love. I do think that there is this movement that's sweeping the globe. But of course, the people that are into aggression make the most noise. But the people that are being kind and loving to one another and forming organizations and groups and getting together to make changes, they do it quietly. So we don't always hear about them. But if we start to look for it and join in with them, it's not that hard to find. That hard to find them. There is a movement. There is.
They are the unsung heroes.
Yes. Do you know what I saw last night?
Tell me.
I was coming home, just walking from 65th Street. Went to the film festival at Lincoln Center and met some friends afterwards. And walking home, 12 blocks north. And on the way home, where I usually pass the homeless people that are, there's like the scaffolding, so they stand under there.
Right.
And I usually go in and buy stuff and get them something to eat or give them money or something. And do you know that somebody, and I feel like it's a priest, I don't know who it is, got some plain wood benches, put them together, lined them up together so they were wide enough for a mattress, put mattresses down, thin mattresses that you could roll up and easily move, and covered these benches with mattresses, got blankets, everything was white and clean, and there were about 4 sets of these benches with mattresses and a table in between each mattress set up. And there was a homeless person laying on each one, covered up, going to sleep, and this priest person was standing and singing a beautiful hymn, watching over them. It was late. It was like 11:45. And watching over them because, right in the middle of the sidewalk, if you can just picture this, in the city, right in the middle of the sidewalk, singing a hymn with his arms out in a protective stance, and it was beautiful. And I was just thinking, he's going to have to stand there all night or have somebody take his place and watch over them so that, because they're right in the middle of the sidewalk. And it was really something. So I immediately began to picture this maybe springing up around the city and showing something has to be done for these poor people. A lot of them are vets, homeless vets, who are just broken and lost, and they don't want to go to shelters. So
the sad part about the broken vets is they're broken because they fought in the line of duty to give us our freedom and our democracy and our way of living.
And then they come home and they're really broken because of their minds were interfered with and their physical bodies and everything. If we look into it, we know. And so that moved me quite a lot. And I had a terrible stomach ache, so I had to get home.
Right.
But I decided that I ate too late at night, and I decided that I would come back and stand there with him whenever I could, and maybe other people would do that. And that would be a wonderful movement to spread. And it just bothers me, and I know it bothers a lot of people with all the money that's spent on missiles and war.
Oh, big time.
That
big time.
We should be able to take care of our homeless people who aren't able to care for themselves properly.
I've said this many times, Francine, that instead of spending billions of dollars going to Mars, going to Pluto, doing all the space exploration that we're doing now, take care of those on this planet first. And then and only then, once all the problems have been eradicated, once everyone has food in their tummy, a roof over their head, clothes on their back, water, electricity, and education. Then go elsewhere. But right now, take care of those here on this planet.
And the need is so great.
It is.
We see what's happening in Europe and right here at home on your very own street. You don't have to go far. And I personally, occasionally, I have not just bought food for them when they're sitting on the sidewalk, but I have befriended a few homeless people. Then I take them to eat with
Right.
me, and I let them order what they want. I invite them to order what they feel like eating, and you hear the stories, and it's heartbreaking.
It is.
It really is
You know,
heartbreaking, and a lot of times they need psychological help too
Sure.
to help integrate them back into society.
You know, you were talking about the priest or the minister that was singing to the people who were on the mattresses and the beds that you described. And you know what I thought of? Here we have
What?
a shepherd taking care of a flock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that puts it right into biblical connotations. But the biblical connotation is that of love. Here you have a
Yes.
man who is sharing his love, his time, protecting those so they can sleep.
I was so moved
Yeah.
by this man. He just got up and did it. He got those benches together, and he got those mattresses together, and he just did it.
Good
and
for him.
That's why I'm talking about it. I just hope that other people will do this around the city and make a big statement to the government, to the powers that be, to our elected officials, that this is something that needs to be addressed. And winter is coming.
You know, I don't
So,
know
hopefully-
why. I don't know why governments do not do more for the homeless. It boggles my
know.
mind.
Yeah, mine too. Mine too. And a lot of people, I don't know why. That's why, we all walk by and we see it. And with some people, we do what we do. But this man got out there and he put it together. And boy, oh boy, do I have high respect for him. And not just doing it, but then standing over them,
Right.
truly like a shepherd, and singing like a lullaby. Sort of, that's how I felt, that it was a lullaby for them to sleep peacefully
Right.
without worrying about anything. Just to think about them laying down on a mattress, and that was not on the sidewalk, but elevated, off the street. It was really, really something.
Francine, how can we receive guidance from our guardian angels and our spirit guides to help us to become better humans?
Well, there are many first steps to take. People can do whatever resonates with them. The most important thing is to recognize the divinity within us. We are divine beings. Our soul is part of God. In cosmic language, God is love.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be seen as a religious thing belonging to one group of people over another. God is love, and so we have that. That is the breath of life. That is what sustains us. I mean, it's not magic. We have divine light inside us that is our soul, and that soul is keeping us alive. When somebody dies, the soul leaves the body. We know that from science. We know that from our saints and other people who have been able to access this information and knowledge.
Right. Yeah.
So when we recognize that we are divine beings, how can we not love ourselves? We must stop casting blame and doubt upon ourselves and begin to honor ourselves, the inner self that we are, and just know that we are loving beings and allow ourselves to be that. And, the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is fear. So once we recognize that we are divine beings, part of God, then there's nothing to be afraid of. And I feel that the only thing that's real is love, and everything else is illusion. So when anything happens that isn't good, we say that's part of the illusion. So let it go. Don't focus on it. Just focus on the love, and the love will help you heal. And once you learn to love yourself, then it's very easy to love others. It's hard to truly love other people, even people that we say we love. It's really hard we know that we can get very angry at people that we profess love for. As soon as they do something we don't like, we get angry at them. But, so once we love ourselves, we can't get angry because we don't have that lack inside us. That's a profound lack that we are acculturated into, is not loving ourselves, to seeing things wrong with us. We get told from the time we're little children about all the sorrow of our particular cultural group, and we inherit that, and then we don't like it, and we don't know what to do about it, so it creates anger inside us, and we feel guilt that we can't really identify. So we need to let go of all that and just learn we have this divinity inside us, and each one of us can actually heal ourselves and others. It's hard to eradicate an entire lifetime of living with unkind thoughts and less than pure lifestyle.
Right.
Like drinking too much and so all the kind of things that people will do through no fault of their own. It's just that's what happens. And it's hard to do that when you're older. But if children can be taught, if we could just teach, children are so easily taught, and they understand it when they learn about spiritual practices like meditation. And they can then grow up with this knowledge and wisdom and become healthier as they're growing. One thing I learned about shamanism, in the indigenous cultures, as soon as a child falls or has an accident or gets hurt or anything happens to them, they are immediately healed through the spiritual way. And this is part of the community. The community takes part in healing that child, because that accident, that thing that happened to hurt that child, whatever it might be, becomes a blockage, an energetic blockage in that child, which later on in life can turn into a disease. That's how we get sick, is that we develop energetic blockages. So that's how I got thyroid cancer, because I didn't really express myself. I was stymied from expressing my true self. I tried to, and I thought I was doing it, but not fully. And so that manifested in the throat, and where the voice comes through. So it's very important for all parents to begin becoming aware of these teachings so they can teach it to their children. And that's one way. Another way is just do it. Just go out and do good things. One of the things I say is when we take steps on our own behalf, the angels smile upon us. When we take steps on behalf of others, the angels blend their energies with us. And so just go out and do it, and don't ask questions. Just help people, be kind, do nice things for yourself, eat healthy food, don't do self-destructive things. Just start adopting better habits. We know what bad habits we have. We all know when we're eating the wrong foods. We all know if we drink too much or smoke or whatever it is, and we have to start cleaning our act up. And that will bring love into our lives, because these highly evolved beings, it's hard for them to get close to us when we are doing negative things. When we get quiet and calm and we begin to search for love, self-love and love for others, then they can grow close to us. So it's a very big teaching, which we don't have time for, but when we're going into bars, drinking and cursing and talking bad about others, what do you think we're attracting?
Negativity.
Then we're attracting. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you want to attract light beings, which will help you love yourself, then you have to do the opposite of that. And that's really, it's all about us. It really begins with each person. And that's to stop blaming other people, stop feeling sorry for ourselves, stop blaming ourselves, and just say, now is the time. I'm going to do it. Right now, I'm going to make a change. And there are lots of people out there waiting to help. Lots of organizations, lots of groups out there waiting to help.
Francine, dear, the time has come when you and I must say so long for tonight, but I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure talking to you again. Keep up the great work.
It's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much, Rob. It's been a joy talking to you.
Sweetheart, I'd love to have you back. I'd love to have you back on in the future. You have so much love to share, and you are truly a blessing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rob.
Take care of yourself.
And be well.
Bye-bye.
Be well. Blessings.
Blessings to you, too.
Bye.
Exonation, Francine VALE has been my guest this hour, www.francinevale.com. You know, I listened to Francine, and you can hear the sincerity in her voice. You can hear the love for everyone that she has in her voice. She's real. The story she told about the homeless people, that man, that minister, that priest who was singing in the middle of a park, watching over his flock. That's what humanity is all about. We just can't walk by these people and pretend they're not there. And I've seen that happen so many times. People snub their noses at these people. They're no worse than the people who live in high-rise apartments. They're humans. And it's funny how we seem to live in a disposable society. Well, we don't want these people to be part of our sociological group. We don't want those people. We don't want this religion coming into our town. We don't want that religion coming into town. We don't want this racial group in our town. You know what? Get past it. We're all humans. We all live on this tiny little speck in the vastness of space. We right now are all we have. If you're waiting for a UFO from Alpha Centauri with little aliens getting out and solving all the problems of the world, you need a reality check. You need to shake your head. You probably need to be on antidepressants or Xanax. It's not going to happen. Take responsibility. Everyone screws up. No one is perfect. We all screw up. Failure is a part of success. It's a lesson. You screw up, admit it. Realize what happened, learn from it, carry on. But we don't have to neglect our fellow human beings doing it. Francine brought up a lot of great points. And it's because of people like Francine VALE that this show is on the air, to try and make a difference in one heart each and every night. And I'll tell you something. I'll guarantee you that Francine made a number of hearts open this hour here on the X Zone. 1-800-610-7035, worldwide toll-free. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. Our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com, is where you can listen to the X Zone 724, 365. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as we continue investigating the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Now, this coming Monday is Thanksgiving in Canada. We will not be on the air. We will be doing the best of that night. You know, turkey, pumpkin pie, mashed potatoes, gravy. And as a Thanksgiving ritual, tradition, we will be going down to the local food banks, helping out, and we'll also be going down to a couple of shelters and bringing some turkey so that others can enjoy Thanksgiving as we can. And it's being helpful and bringing light and hope to those in need that Thanksgiving is all about. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.